Hello, everyone. We'll just get started here in a minute or two. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my stream today. We're doing Timberborn. So just for anyone new to the game, it's a game about beavers and building a nice colony in the post-apocalyptic world. And where we're at with our colony is cycle 8, day 13. So that means we've gone through 8 times of having droughts or bad tides. Our worst bad tide so far, not bad tide, worst drought so far was 14 days, and we managed it without too many problems. This drought that we're jumping into today, it was a 13-day drought, and we're about halfway through. We're at 6 days left of it. I hope everyone's doing fantastic, and thank you so much for joining me today. Nice to see you in the chat again, Sugio. Hope you're doing well. Hope your factory's growing quickly for you. And let's get started. We'll take a quick tour. And just while we're doing that, Sugio, if you have anything about your... Oh, you're playing in hard mode. Yes. Oh, and you're playing in hard mode. Yes. Yes, I am, Sugio. That's very correct. Thank you for pointing that out as well. I am in hard mode. So the droughts and bad tides are going to continue to get worse. So just looking at our colony here a little bit, it's growing at a nice, consistently slow pace. We've got our first monument here, the farmer one. Our reservoir is doing well for where we're at. And we'll go ahead and hit play. Okay, so we'll get the play going, speed up time a little bit here. There we go, off to work. Let's just watch them slow for a moment. We've got someone that's injured. Let's make sure we have enough beds. This one is not finished being built. Should be once we get another plank over there. Okay, yeah. So we'll have someone take care of that in a moment. There we go. Perfect. And we can just see our little beavers here just crawling into the bed. And if you remember last time, for anyone who's seen it before, the beaver had a bandage on its tail. This one's got it on its foot. So we do kind of get to see this one on its paw. So we do kind of get to see the different kinds of injuries that the beavers may end up with. Alright, so let's take a look. So we set this up for some well-being, because this will be a rooftop terrace. And let's take a look around. Okay. When I haven't played a colony for a couple days, I do like to take a quick look around just to remind myself exactly what's going on. Yeah, because I had sort of forgotten about this here. We're working on building our wood workshop, so they'll make like the reinforced planks or treated planks. And that'll allow us to start thinking about doing things with metal and getting a large water storage, which will be very nice to have, especially as we get further and further into these bigger droughts. And we're just waiting on a gear for it. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so we'll just speed this up a little bit. Give it a moment. If you're just joining us, we are picking up our hard setting colony. We are cycle 8, day 14. So this is our 14th, our 8th, either bad tide or drought. This drought's a 13-day one, and we're about halfway through it. Lots of water, and we're doing quite well at the moment. I'm very happy with how we're sitting. And as you can see, we did upgrade this dam down here if you missed it on the last stream. So now it's got a floodgate there. So what we'll do overnight is just bring this down ever so slightly. Because water evaporation is calculated on surface area, and just because we're getting so low upstream in this reservoir, I say low, but there's still quite a bit. I do just want to top off down here because it'll evaporate a little slower because of the smaller surface area. And we'll just let that go for a moment. We'll even speed up again. There we go. And keep filling. Great. Right there should be good, so we'll just pull that back up. Eventually we will automate this, of course. And this is done. Lovely. There's no power to it, of course, because there's no wind and the water's not flowing. But that's okay. This will just take a second. For anyone that doesn't know Timberborn well, what you can see that I did here is I built this little staircase just so that they could access that wind turbine. Because without that staircase, it's actually too far away from the path for them to be able to reach that high. So just building a little staircase helps them get up. And like, yes, it's only like a 70% return when I will eventually destroy that staircase, but it's worth it for the little bit of power that I'll get from it. So what we'll do is we have a plank storage there, so we're going to build another storage over here. And this one is going to be for the, whoops, sorry everybody, for the playing Stationeers earlier today, and for its rotation of items, it's C instead of R. Sorry about that, everyone. There we go. So that'll end up being our treated planks. Great. So, come down here a bit. Take a look. Good. Good. Just looking at our different amounts here of different things. All right, so we'll look over here and we'll get this forester to start planting here more oak, and then we'll get them to plant some maple here. And that will keep us going for a while. There's our oak. We're not going to go right up to here, just in case we can't deal with the bad tide in time. The next one, I don't want to lose more trees. So we'll just leave that as oak for now, and we'll set the maple up over here. And if you missed the last stream, we talked a bit about the dandelions and how like we don't need them right now, but I do like having a store of them for when I do. It's to heal beavers when they get sick from touching bad water, the nasty orange water, this stuff. And I always like to have it before I need it. So I have another little patch here, and we've been harvesting it every once in a while. Great. I wonder if I have our cut tree area set up properly. I do. Wonderful. And then this is our little chestnut grove, which is another food source for as we get in further. And great. We've got a great stock of potatoes. Definitely could have some more carrots though, but we might wait a little bit. No, we'll put some carrots right here. Okay. Yeah, so we'll plant some more carrots just right here, and that should be good for a long time. I don't want to build too much without thinking about where are we going to be doing our irrigation, for example? How are we going to expand? Like, where are we going to put our big water tank, for example, which is bigger than these ones? Its footprint is pretty good in size. So, like, where are we going to put it? I may end up putting it here. One of the important things to think about in Timberborn is how far do the beavers need to walk to get to food, how far to water, their home, different recreational items, all of those things. The better it's set up, the better they do. And by no means am I perfect at it. Just as a heads up about it. Great, so let's see. I think we're going to put it right here and then just branch that road so it's a little bit of a weird size, but that should be fine. And we almost have enough signs to unlock it, but we need metal for it. I forgot about the metal. Whoops. That's okay. Let's think about our science here for a second. The observatory we could build now, but it needs power. So no, we're going to leave it for now. The big tank, the big pump, that's what I was thinking of that we needed to get that those treated planks for. I couldn't remember exactly why I needed those the treated planks. It's for the large water pump. It's a lot more efficient than these small ones, which is going to be more and more important as we have these longer droughts and bad tides. And yeah, it's super important for that because it's way more efficient, and with the same number of beavers, so 3 beavers, it does almost like 4 times the amount of water. It's like, what is it? Let's just look. So it's 0.3 hours for 5 water, and it takes 3 beavers to do it, where we get 0.3 of a water every, 1 water every 0.3 of an hour with only 1 beaver. So it's a lot more efficient. So we'll look at it like this, and let's check our size because I think we're gonna put it right here. We'll end up demolishing, we'll end up demolishing this water pump right there, and we will replace it with a platform there. Fantastic. And let's check what we need to build it. Do we have everything? We do, except the treated planks. Great, so we'll just let our industry keep going here for a bit. And we'll prioritize the treated planks for the haulers. That'll get it so that it's a little bit quicker. But we are unstaffed for the haulers, so let's pause one of the inventors and we'll pause the grill here as well. That way we just have it get taken care of a little bit quicker. And we do have 3 builders at the moment. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll resume these. Whoops. There we go. So we'll just get all of that resumed, and then we'll start getting some verticality here. I'll likely keep this fairly low just because I do have the farmer monument here. And yeah, so we have the brazier of bonding, which I will likely go right there just to kind of be cute and like balanced. Eventually the fountain will have to be built, and it'll probably go over here somewhere. And then the wonder will probably destroy some of the land here and try and set it up to be over here eventually. Just so that you guys kind of know where I'm going with everything here. As far as like what I'm thinking about ahead of time. Yeah, so we hit our drought over here now, which is totally fine. These trees will be totally okay for the next 3-4 days. And we've got plenty of water for our crops. The little platform is done. The rooftop terrace is done. Great. And that rooftop terrace will just bring up our well-being a little bit more. And everybody's running around. Yeah, see, we're running out of things for the beavers to do at night, just with the size of our colony. So that's definitely good that we're getting that rooftop figured out where it was going earlier, and now it's getting built. We'll hit play again. We'll let them build this other lodge. And we'll build a little pathway to the door. And let's take a look at our decorations here. Yeah, they're fairly expensive as far as research is concerned at the moment, especially because we want that big water pump. So we'll put another lantern here for now, and that'll probably get replaced by something later. But that will increase our well-being and work speed and everything. What's the next number? Let's just grab a whoop whoop. There we go. So we can see here, just by hovering, next tier well-being at 15, they'll work 60% faster. Great. When we get to 22, and then when we get to 17. So that's life expectancy and movement speed changes. So this should push them up to the 15 at least. And it would be wonderful if between that and the lantern it brought us to the 17, but I'm not sure it will. Great. Okay, so if you're just joining us, we've got a little less than 3 days left on this 13-day drought, and as you can see, we're doing quite well with our water and quite well with our food at the moment. And yeah, the colony is growing at a nice consistent pace. 3 workplaces at the hauling hut here. Great. Oh, I do have this one going. Okay, so we're just going to pause that gatherer for a little bit. Don't need to be worrying about the dandelions constantly. And how long till our chestnuts are grown? We're about halfway on the chestnuts growing, so they've got a little while yet. And then we'll have another source of food, which never hurts. Great. Just watching our beavers do their job. And you can see, even though that it's only a 16-hour shift, the beavers, if they have something when the shift ends, they do go and try and finish it. And then we can just come over here and we'll take a look at our very cute little beavers sitting around on the rooftop terrace, probably chatting, relaxing after a long day. And you can see each of the different kinds of work that the beavers do changes which tool or outfit they're wearing, which I find is always fun. Fancy beavers and dandelions. Yeah, Sukio. If you haven't played too much, it does help them to heal later. But yeah, beavers are getting fancy as we go here. Love tea so much. All right, we'll just spin around, take a look. This forest is almost gone, which is good, because this is where we'll probably end up building quite a bit of our industry. And we'll, of course, do quite a bit of the industry along this bank, just because we'll get some decent power from here. But with the Folktales, because there's two different factions for those of you who don't know, there's Folktales and Iron Teeth. We're playing Folktales, and they are more about farming and being in balance instead of the Iron Tails are who are more industrialized for sure. And the Folktales get access to big windmills, which are really lovely. They produce more power than these regular ones. And so we don't need to worry as much about using the water for power. Don't need to rely on it the same way, especially once we get some gravity batteries going as well. That'll just help us when there's no wind and the water's not flowing. Great, so we've got a good buffer of wood at the moment. We're at 4 planks. 4 treated planks, which is good. Ideally, I would love to see us have everything we need and have the big water pump going or ready to, whoops, sorry everybody, ready to go before the drought ends, and then we can just rely on it through the next temperate season. There we go. We're just building a little bit more platforms here so that we don't have to adjust too much yet for the big water pump, the large water pump. And then you can see we have a couple other things here. A bad water pump meant specifically to pump bad water. The fluid dump we have here in case we ever need to use it for irrigating. And then we have the centrifuge and mechanical fluid pump. The mechanical one is to move water from one height to another. Centrifuge is to change bad water into into extract, which is used for elixir, which is how you heal Folktales that get sick from bad water. Then the bad water dome just closes it, and a bad water rig seals the bad water source and employs workers to directly extract bad water instead of having to use the pump and then the centrifuge. It just uses that and then the centrifuge instead. On this map, I'm not sure if we'll set it up over here. We may, or we may set it up over here. Over here. There we go. But that's a little way yet. Sometimes what I do on this map is I just set up a bad water pump here, dam this off, divert the bad water that way, and then make all of our dynamite and everything here. Which is definitely what I am thinking about getting done sooner than later. Just that way, then we can start really affecting the terrain, start building really good irrigation canals, all of those sorts of things. Here comes the good water. What we'll do is we'll drop this floodgate. That one's dropped, that one's dropped. Just check that all our other ones are. And as soon as the water starts touching here, that's when we'll drop this floodgate over here. Okay, so great, they got that done. So now we can get our big water pump, or our large water pump. This has a high priority for work and a high priority to get built, and it is prioritized by haulers for sure. That way they'll just make sure that that gets pumped and the water gets distributed quickly. And with that done, we can start thinking about getting some metal so that we can start building things like the large water storage or the big water storage. There we go. Bring this floodgate down. Great. There we go. So we can start thinking about getting the next size of water storage. We can think about making dynamite now and all those good things with the metal. Just before I get metal, though, I am going to double check that my thought process is right on how to get to our explosives. Yeah, explosives do require metal. Okay, that's what I thought, but sometimes I can't always remember. And we have 6 jobs that are low, so we'll just pause a couple of these inventor shacks here. And we made it through that drought with no problems, and we're into cycle 9. Wonderful. Water's flowing, making power. Great. How are we doing for our pine resin? We're doing well. That's what this little tapper's shack here is for, is to collect this resin when we need it. And I'm seeing only good things. Great. Yeah, I think we can just let them run for a minute. Especially because I do want to see this water get topped off. So I think what we'll do even is we will pause a couple of those other inventor shacks. And we will resume a couple more of the pumps, pause the builder's hut, well not builder's hut, but the district center, which acts as Beaver's hut for early game. And there we go, get our water really pumping. And then we will be able to start down our metal track because of how much science we have. Once we get a second one of these mediums filled, then I'll pause the smaller pumps and we can get started with the metal. Yeah, that should be about right. Great. Come back down to the play, find our metal down here. How far to get this? It's 1K. Yeah, do we want to wait for the observatory or do we want to start in on metal? The answer is how much do we have right now? We have enough to get started on our metal for sure. And then if we come over here to landscaping, check our explosives. By the time we get enough and all of the other parts done, we should be able to. Yeah, I think what we'll do is we're going to do it kind of both at the same time. We will start gathering the metal from over here. There we go. Just with 2 of them, I think. Yeah, if we have 2 beavers gathering that metal, and we do a small storage right there. And then where do we want our big metal storage to be? Probably over here. Most likely right here. So we'll grab our large pile. Oops, wrong button. And we'll probably put it right here. Set this up as metal. Obtain. This one can be set up as metal obtain. Did I set this as scrap? No, I set it as finished. And we will resume both the district center and the grill, just because we're getting low on our cooked potatoes here. And getting our workers to finish building all of our places where the metal will be stored first, and then once that's done, we'll switch the builders over to collecting the metal. Yeah, so we already hit our next drought is going to be in 3 days. Yeah. We should be fine to get through the next drought with the amount of water storage we have. And then the one after, we'll definitely need to upgrade our storage amount. Great, so we'll pause both of those for a moment. Pause that. We'll resume these. Yeah, those kits that we got from the new lodge are just starting to grow up. No, you're obtained. You need to supply. There we go. So the beavers right here, when their little storage area gets full, they'll move it over to the small pile, and then it'll get collected by the haulers to bring over here. Or if the haulers don't have anything more important to do, they'll collect it straight from the gathering post. Which is why haulers are so helpful. There we go. Our cute little colony coming along. Have some tea. There we go. And right now I'm just thinking about where are we going to put our next set of lodges? And they're probably going to go right on top here. And we'll just extend this walkway. And we'll probably get rid of one of these and build another staircase over here. And then that'll give us some more lodges. But that's not for another couple moments, to be sure. Great. And now we're so full up on water that we can just bring down the number of workers here. And we're still producing more than if we had all of our previous pumps working at the same time. And we have an extra worker now, which is fantastic. So what we'll do with that extra worker is get them working on some science. I would like to get the observatory. There we go. Couldn't remember the words. Sorry, everyone. The observatory next, because it will basically eliminate all of our inventors' huts and make the observatory our main source of science. And it'll be much quicker than using those inventor huts. And how are we doing on wood? We're doing really well. So I think what we're gonna do is double check how much this is. Not much at all. And the reason why I'm checking the paper mill is we're gonna check the big windmill, which is 1.4K for 300 horsepower. So that's probably where we'll think about going shortly as well, is getting that large wind turbine. Because we definitely need a bit more power up here, especially when it's not, when it's a drought period. So what we'll do is, I'm thinking about how we're gonna set things up. So if we still have 2 beavers that aren't doing anything, we're gonna pause one of those and we'll resume our district center so that we can get building. And we'll delete this tree. And we're going to get rid of that staircase, just like we were talking about earlier. get rid of these paths. And looking at our smelter, perfect. It's exactly the size I thought it was, and it'll go right here. And then I need to double check our wind turbines. Yeah, so they need 2 full in between them. Great. Not a problem. So that means that's probably going to go there, and we're just going to double check. No, I'm certain that it's not going to be able to fit there with the metal with the smelter here as well. So what we'll do is go like this. Put a couple of platforms there, and we should be able to put a turbine there, and then a couple power shafts like that. And then we'll put another water wheel here and here. Yes, we're going into a drought in half a day, so we'll just pause those, just so that we're reminded that those need to get built later. And then we'll build another couple of platforms along there. And we'll throw another turbine there, and then another couple power shafts like that. Because what I'm thinking about is I want to move all of this industry up here. It's all about keeping the industries close together because they're taking things from each other. And then the other thing is the power, right? Then I only need to worry about having the power in the one place opposed to on 2 opposite sides of the colony. So once that's built fully, then we'll demolish all of this and bring it all up here, and we'll start building our other storage areas and really start nailing down what this is going to look like. And our observatory will likely sit above the water right here for now. Actually, it'll sit right here. Yeah, it's definitely going to sit right there for the time being. Yeah, so we just have to build a little bit, and then the observatory can sit there for now. Okay, just looking at our beautiful colony in the sunset again. So nice, especially with the little monument here to all the farming beavers. There we go. Great. And we have one job that's not currently filled, which is totally fine. Great, our dandelions are ready to harvest. Make our beavers a little more fancy, just for you, Sugio. And there's our drought. Oops, so we'll pause it. Hit our floodgate up there. Great, hit this one. Great. A little bit of overflow, that's fine. And we're 15 days, so this is our longest drought yet, but it's only 1 day longer. As you can see, I forgot to make sure that I filled our channel properly before that drought hit. But if you pause and you're quick about it, it's usually not too bad. Yeah, so this will even out somewhere probably around 70-ish% filled, and that'll be fine for 15 days. And where we're at up here should be fine as well. We'll just make sure that we're careful about it, and we'll pause our pump, of course. There we go. We'll just speed up. See where our water ends up. It's still simulating back and forth, trying to figure out its even level. Yeah, so probably about 70-ish%, which is fine. Our top is a little lower than I'd like for our reservoir, but that's okay. It's not too bad. We have plenty of water stored up, which is the important part. Great, that's starting to get filled up. So we'll have plenty of scrap metal when it's time to start processing it here shortly. And I think the other thing we're going to do is we'll look over here and we can cancel our planting area for these birch. The birch don't need to be replaced anymore. It's just extra time for both the planter and for the forester and for the lumberjack that is wasted at this point. It's better time. Their time is better spent planting and harvesting oak. So all the birch is cleared out, so we'll expand our chestnut grove over here as well. You can see we're starting to collect a couple from a couple of the trees that are ready from over here likely. We'll just give the gatherer a pause, and we'll pause the grill for now as well. These are the chestnuts. You're most welcome, Sugio, for those dandelions. We'll get some more soon, I promise. In 3 days. Nope, day and a half. There we go. 13 and a half days left on the 15 days. Great. Our resources are in a really happy spot, especially with everything that's been built. So what we'll do is give it a pause for a moment, and then we'll grab the smelter here, double check a couple lines. Great. This is a fantastic, and I forget it exists so often because it was not here for the longest time when I was playing it. So we'll put a road like that, because what we'll do is the smelter will go here and we'll cover those squares, and then we'll put one of our industries right here, and we'll cross the power over. How are we going to cross our power? That's how. Okay, so that road is not going to go there. And then we can fit 2 of them that way, or we could start doing them this way, which is, I think, what we'll do. Great. So let's resume game, resume that lumberjack, because we want that lumberjack to specifically cut down these trees. Ideally this one. And we'll do our path like this, like that. Set up our lumber mill. No. Gear workshop is going to go there. And we'll add decoration along here. This will end up being where we store gears. And we will put our lumber mills right here. Yeah, we're just going to pause this. And we will actually just be bad and clear these trees so that we can finish building all the way along here. So we'll go like that. Great. And then we'll put our wood storage. Whoops, storage. Whoops. Wood storage will go there. And we'll cross our power right there. And if I remember correctly, turbines cannot, but it looks like the large can go directly there, which is cool. But I should be able to go power, vertical shaft, and the regular wind turbine. That's exactly what I thought. I thought that would be high enough. So we'll just go like this. We will get rid of that one little path for now. Hike our power shaft. There we go. Could not think of the right word at all. And then we'll go vertical power, horizontal power. Actually, nope, that is cheaper. Vertical power shafts are a little bit cheaper than platforms. And we will go ahead and put a second one there. There we go. And that should power everything. And we're just going to set all of these to very low priority because we don't need anybody working there yet. We just need everything built. And we're going to set this as high priority. And the reason we're going to set these as high priority is so that the beavers don't get trapped. I love these beavers, but the AI sometimes puts a beaver in a place where it gets trapped, which is less than ideal. And I do believe we should have enough of everything to get that done. So we'll just increase our number of builders. We'll resume the inventor here. And then this grill doesn't need to be resumed. We're at 6 beavers doing nothing. So what that means, in my opinion at this point, is I like to build a second, or it'll be our first really, but I like to build a builder's hut at this point. That way I can just ensure that if something needs to get built really quick later on, we have the ability to increase how many beavers are working on something at any one time. There we go. We'll get rid of that. So if you're just joining us, we are on a 15-day drought this time for cycle 9, with only 6 days between this drought and a 13-day drought we had prior. Yummy tea. And right now we're just kind of setting up so that we can explode our population. Because we'll go from this, like, what are we at, 30 beavers? Yeah, so we'll go from like this 30 to 60 odd beavers, and then we will think about getting bots, so the robots, and then we'll replace all of the high danger jobs with robots, and after that we'll likely double, triple our population and hit the 500 mark, and then bring our bot count up even higher, and at that point we can think about going up to the 1,000 mark for our colony, but that's a little ways away yet. How are we doing for our water down here? Yeah, so we will release a little bit of that reservoir. That's probably enough. Great. Just the whole lower surface area is good for irrigation. And that's one of the things that I'm really trying to drive us towards right now, is getting metal so that we can do explosives for irrigation. Because if we run irrigation channels all through here, then we only need to worry about keeping that at the right height with water to keep everything irrigated, instead of worrying about this whole big channel here, which, as we get further along here, is going to get more and more difficult to keep correct. Much easier to keep a couple of basic lines of irrigation going opposed to massive channels. Great. And our movement of industry from down below to up top here is moving along quite well. And we still even have 2 beavers not doing anything. So we'll increase our number on that hauling hut for now. And that will just get all of this built up a little bit quicker. Did we set that up as logs? We did not. So we'll set this up as logs and obtain. And then we're going to set this to empty, empty, and empty. So the haulers will come along and empty everything up here eventually. Sorry, down there. And they'll bring it all up here. But we do need to finish setting everything up to be able to do that. So what we'll do is we'll take a look, extend this probably to there. And then we'll go ahead and pause and pause. And we'll grab our storage. Our large pile is going to go right here. And this one is going to be for regular planks. And I am thinking about where we're going to put our last large pile over here. That'll be for the smelter to put things in. But it's entirely possible I may just make a small pile for now here, and then we'll eventually put the large pile right here. But we may wait till we can do the excavator and put this as dirt instead, so that we can do the large underground pile instead. It's like stores a lot, 1,000. It's got a capacity of 1,000, which is great. And I think we will go ahead and demolish that inventor's hut so that we can put a medium warehouse right here. And that medium warehouse is going to be for gears. Great. We're at 800 and we need 1,000. Well, we need a little more than 1,000 because we're going to put our observatory right there. Great. How many planks do we have left? We are out of planks, which is totally fine and was honestly expected at some point. Oh, shoot. Please tell me I didn't demolish everything. Oh, good, I didn't. This is why you wait to demolish things. Ran out of planks before we finished building all our windmills and our platforms and everything up here. So I'm very happy we didn't get rid of that. Alright, speed up again. And our well-being did come up to 16, which is wonderful. Yeah, still only 1 or 2 injured beavers here and there, which isn't too bad. We'll go ahead and pause that gear workshop as well. Go ahead, reset these to some of the normal priority so that they get work done once we resume it. And how are we doing down here? We're doing well. Our chestnut trees are looking great, fully grown in fact, and getting ready to have some fruit, which means we'll build a storage for it shortly. And its storage will likely go right on top of this one. Yeah, actually no it won't. Because we got to start thinking about how we're going to be building this up with levees to run water down through here a little quicker as we carry on here. This can definitely be paused because we don't need any for a while, and they've already got 30 sitting there, which fills the entire storage up. Great. Looks like everything's been built. We just need to make sure that this is getting power. I missed that when we were working on it. So we'll just add a extra little power there. Resume this one. Building needs power to operate. Are you upset because there was no wind? That's fine. Couple more planks. And we'll go ahead, pause these. And we will resume this one, however, and we'll build a third one right there. Fantastic. And that brings all of our industry from down there up here. But we will leave this just paused for now. The reason why we're just going to leave it paused for now, we're going to delete the storage areas down here though, is just in case something happens and I really need to turn it back on, then we've got that as a nice safe backup. Oh, the beavers can't get to that. Shoot. Made a mistake there. Oh no, no, this doesn't need to be there because the power transmits through the buildings. And now they should be able to get that and they should be able to clean that up. Wonderful. There we go. If you're just joining us, we're about halfway through a 15-day drought here, and we're doing quite well with it. Our reservoir is doing okay. Our main channel is still mostly full, and we've had to top it up a couple times, which is totally fine and expected. And our metal industry is starting to get going quite well. Looks like we filled up all of our metal storage even. Can just see it over here. If there's that much there, this is likely full. Oh, it's not quite full. Great. So we can leave them going for a bit longer. And we will hit our observatory in a moment here. And we'll just set up our power for it right there. Fantastic. So many blueberries. And we'll get even more dandelions for Sugio. Yep, definitely. We're only at 36. And lots of water left. Good. And we have 46 gears currently, so that's okay. We don't need to worry about our gear workshop. We can let everybody keep working on what they're doing. Over here is fully planted. Love seeing that. We have a good backup of wood at the moment. Our food we need to get cooking again. Totally expected. And now we need to think about where we're going to put our storage for chestnuts. I think we need to really think about where we're gonna put, sorry, I think, just makes me giggle when I say silly things like that. We really need to start thinking about how we're setting up our cooks. And what we're gonna do is, this cookhouse is gonna move over here. And yeah, that's what I thought. The contemplation spots can't be built above, but the medical tents can be. So we'll move our well-being of the contemplation spots over here. Great. Those will get demolished. We'll put 2 more medical tents underneath. And we'll put some more platforms. And then we're going to build a second cook hut over here and probably a second storage as well. And this lantern needs to go away. So we'll have to rebuild it. And it had to go away so that we could just do that. We'll go like this. Great. You can drag and build. Sometimes when I'm building certain things, I find it easier just to click so that I can think about it a little bit more as I'm actually taking care of these things. We'll speed up a little bit. Food, there we go. So we'll put a grill there, and then the second one will go there for sure. And I think we'll put our chestnut storage right there. So we'll go storage, medium warehouse. That'll be for our uncooked, and our cooked ones will go right there. I'm always thinking, not what am I doing on the next drought necessarily. I'm thinking, okay, what am I doing on the next 3 droughts ahead, or 4, or even more ahead? Just that way I don't get surprised by a lack of resources. And that way, always moving forward to being able to grow the colony a little bit quicker. So this is getting built. This is going to get changed over to chestnuts. And we need a row to it. Great. And then we need to build 2 more platforms right here. And we're gonna get a 4th, I think. No, we're not. Workers are not enough for that yet. Fantastic. We have enough science for the observatory. And it's gonna take a little bit of time to build just because of the planks. So I think what we will do is we'll go ahead and we'll pause those inventors. And we will actually build a 4th lumber mill right here. Eventually we'll probably have about 12 lumber mills. 12 lumber mills, if I can speak and not get tongue-tied. Clearly I need some more tea. There we go. Tea is so important. It's so lovely. All right, let's take another look around. Things are going well. We have our beaver over here that is collecting. Good. We have 1 beaver without a job. Fantastic. So we will resume this and we'll set up grilled chestnuts. Wonderful. We don't have many yet, and really it's not going to do much, but it will bring up our well-being a little bit more. And a little bit more continuously. So that's taken care of. What we will do is put a platform there, and I think we still need that lantern we had over here. We still need it. I can tell because our well-being's come down a bit. So I think we will just go ahead and delete this and build that lantern there for now. And great. And we'll just leave that cook hut there for now. And we still need to figure out where we're going to put our cooked chestnuts. Because I'd rather beavers not have to go up a level yet to get food. So I think what we'll do then is, yeah, we're going to put it right here because we're going to put our big water here, I think. That just makes sure that the storage works out properly. If I do that, it does. Fits in with the wall. Great. Yeah, so that'll be grilled chestnut. Fantastic. And we have 5 days left of our drought, and we were able to maintain building throughout this drought, which makes me very happy to see. And expanding our resources. Good. Fantastic. The birch forest is getting cut down so that we can replace it with more chestnut. So we'll go like this with the chestnut, and we'll come back and fill it in more later. And of course, we need to change the cut tree so that the chestnuts we're planting don't get cut down. Those look like oak, not... Oops. There we go. Oh, they're not getting planted anyway. Too dry right there. That's fine. We'll just clear that planting area then. Great, and we'll come back later to finish expanding that. We're dry up top. That's just the difference between me remembering to pull the floodgates properly before the drought hit. You can see how important it can be on some of the bigger droughts here. So we'll drop this down a little bit, refill our irrigation channel, have some tea. Excuse me. If you're just joining us, we have less than 5 days left of the 15-day drought. Our water stores are doing totally fine. And we're trucking along, building the colony, getting bigger and bigger. Let's check our monuments. Brazier is 400 planks, so that's a hot minute away from us being able to do that. But we do have our 4 building planks here, and we're just getting this built up. And of course, the all-important observatory is done. Lovely. So happy about that. We have 6 jobs currently available. Delete all of our, demolish all of our inventor huts, seeing as we don't need them and they're taking up valuable space. And we should have 1 hauler, and we have 8 builders right now, so we can definitely slow this down for a second and think about exactly what we're going to do next. Because I think we'll go ahead, we'll pause the secondary builders, and we will get our smithy. I think our smithy is definitely the next thing to do, which is going to be under metal. There it is. Took me a minute to find it, but we do need 300 science, so it'll be another day to get it, but that's fine. No big rush. Yay, new high score for well-being. We're up to 18, yippee. Means the beavers are working better, they're healthier, they're happier. Good to see. So we'll do our little pile right here for now. And this is just going to be for the output of metal from the smithy. And we can throw some decorations here soon. And our little pile here can go away. And what we'll do is build a platform there and there. And that will end up being for the large pile in a moment. All right, so large pile can go here, and that'll be for the metal. And in that case, we'll just get rid of that one. We don't even need to build it. Great, there we go. And well-being at 18. Once we get that smithy, I think the next thing we'll do with science is research some more well-being. And that will just bring what our workers can accomplish up that much more. 290, and I think it's 300, which we just hit. It is great. So we'll get the smithy built right there. Fantastic. So the smithy's going to go in there. You can see like 200 horsepower for that one. This requires, I think it's 200. I know the observatory does, and each one of these is 50. And we're currently supplying 700, which is wonderful, out of a required 4. So gravity battery would make sense to start thinking about. We have plenty of extra wood at the moment, so we'll get these water wheels finished. And getting these 2 water wheels finished is actually less about the additional power that's going to come from them, and is more about building the gravity battery that I was just talking about for as cheap as possible. Because I don't want to build up too high right now, because the higher you build, the more power they will store. So what we're going to do is we'll put a platform there, and then if we go to our power, vertical power shafts, fantastic, and then we should be able to do a regular one there, but instead we'll do a turbine, I think. And we'll check. Can this go here, or is it too close to the... It is. It's too close to the windmill, but that's okay because we don't really have the space there anyway to put 2, so we'll put 1 there, and then we'll do a second one there. And these won't give us much extra power, but it's literally something is better than nothing to save power. And we'll destroy this tree so that we can put another staircase right here. And there we go. We'll wait a moment, and we do need that research for it, but like I was saying, we're worrying more about some well-being and decoration items first. So we'll do a weather vane first, and then we'll do probably the beaver statue. We'll do the weather vane first, and then we'll see how much our well-being comes up from there. If you're just joining us, we're have 3 days left of this 15-day drought. We're doing well on our water at the moment. We just unlocked our smithy, which is getting built now. And we do need to resume our gear workshop as well. So we'll let that go. We have that error for that path. There we go, fix that. And there we go. Wonderful. Just taking a look around, seeing where we're at with a couple of different things. Our chestnuts are starting to come up, so our grilled potatoes are full. Great. Everything's working without a problem. And the smithy, where are we at with it? We're just going to increase the priority for the smithy, because I do want that finished before we worry about these things. They're much less important at the moment. Getting that metal started is a fairly high priority. Come back over to our decorations, unlock that weather vane, and we'll just put it right there for now. 1 there, we'll put a second one here, and probably put a third one right there, and that should cover the majority of the colony. Because it's as they walk by it, that's the important part for these ones. And weather vanes are nice and cheap for a little bonus towards well-being. Great. We can see them just working away on a couple of different things here. And we're almost, there we go, we hit our 300 again. So now we're going to look at our power and our gravity battery, which needs 10 metal. Where are we at with metal? We're at 2, but that's okay. By the time we get there... Oh, it's 400 science, not 3. My mistake. By the time we get that gravity battery built, we'll be good to go on the metal. And we still need to get a couple of other things up here finished up before we can actually use the gravity battery. So, power-wise, there we go, up to a 19 for our well-being. Yay! That's fantastic to see. And everybody's asleep, so we'll just quickly speed through here. You can see the beavers at their contemplation spots over here, just doing their thing, contemplating life and nature and the apocalypse that they're living through. All our weather vanes are done as well. Fantastic. We have a good stock of chestnuts and a good stock of potatoes. What we're gonna do is pause the potatoes for now, just so that we have a couple workers on everything. And we have a 0.8 of a day left for this drought, which is fantastic. We made it through, the channel is good. Power's doing well. So we will just speed up a little bit. Great, our workers finished that. Can they reach that? Yes, they can. Wonderful. And we have enough science for our gravity batteries. So we'll just build 2 small ones right here for now. One there, another one there. And we'll put a little power there. And we'll delete this path and put another power shaft here once they finish the windmill. And we'll set a high priority on it. There we go. And we are back to our temperate time. So we'll just start bringing this down and we'll check and see, because if it can be brought down to the same height or lower, wonderful. Now I don't need to worry about this later. It'll just fill properly. And there comes the water. Just nice and lovely after a 15-day drought. You can just see the water flowing and the entire valley coming back to life. Great, on to cycle 10. Fantastic. And we only have a little metal left over here, but that's fine. That's plenty for what we need. And then we'll think about going to that metal source over there. Great. So we'll get rid of this little pathway, put a power shaft there. Fantastic. And those gravity batteries will give us a little bit of a buffer for power going forward. We have water flowing all the way through here now. So we'll get that pump working. And we will look at our other numbers here. Great, so we're actually going to pause these batteries, and the biggest reason we're pausing them is actually because we're going to need the gears for something a little bit more important. For our, my goodness, can't find it, there we go, our large tank of water. We're not quite there on research yet, but I do want a buffer of enough gears to make sure that we can get that built on this temperate cycle, and I would like to see it get filled if possible. So we'll just pause our district center as well, and we'll pause the grill even so that the haulers can get their job done quickly. Great. And where are we at for metal? We're at 6, and I believe we need 30. So we'll prioritize the smelter for the haulers to ensure that they always have everything they need. And you can see we're really low on logs now, so I'll go ahead and pause a couple of the planks because we really don't need too many planks. We only need enough so that we can build this large tank, and we do have enough now. So we'll just let them work a little bit. And then if we look at this forest, it's staying at a good rate. This one, I'd like to see these oak trees getting cut down a little quicker. So I think we're going to resume that lumberjack flag as well, because yep, there's the next drought as expected. Only 3 days left. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get it built before the next drought. I'd really like to see it built, but I don't know if we'll get there. We have the science for it. We do not have the gears. So, see, this is why I like to keep this functioning down here for now, is now we can get those gear shops turning out some as well, and we're not reliant only on the 2 new ones. So we'll extend that a little bit. This will obtain water for us. Again, just like I was mentioning earlier, it's important to make sure that your haulers are set up correctly. We have a nice buffer of food, but we do not have the water I would like to see by now for this cycle. I think this is our last cycle with these 3 small backup pumps, and we'll see another big pump, the large size pump, for the next cycle. Especially because this large tank will end up taking 1200 water. So we'll resume that, and we're gonna pause the observatory for now. With that resumed, we still have 8 jobs that are not being worked. You needed 30 metal. We'll be iffy to get that done too. Yeah, it might have just been a little too much to hope for this particular cycle, but that's okay. Oh, that's why it's taking so long. I forgot to bring our number of workers on that pump back up. We're pausing that lumberjack just because we need the beavers to be working on specific things at the moment. So we'll pause that forester, that lumberjack. And I don't think we're going to hit the metal that we need. We have 1.5 days, so we'll extend today's work shift and probably tomorrow's. And that'll bring us a lot closer if we don't make it before we hit that next drought. I was really hoping to get another couple days between, but it doesn't look like we're going to get it. And we also need to resume our planks again for the water. And just because we have so much food, we are going to bring our farmers down so that we only have 1 farmer working at the moment. And then we'll pause the small pumps. And we still have 4 jobs. This is a moment where, as much as I would love to build another lodge, I really shouldn't, just so that it's safe for the beavers and they make it through this next drought. I probably could, but I don't like seeing beavers die of things that can be prevented, like dehydration. Good. 0.7 of a day. Yeah, see, we're just not going to get there. So, because we're just not going to get there in this one, we'll bring the work time down to 16 hours. And once the beavers are done working, then we'll bring up our... No, we can bring the floodgates up now. We'll bring the floodgates up now and just get as much water as we can. And we can pause these gear workshops. Great. A little bit of flooding is fine. Pause. Sorry, bring that floodgate all the way up. And then it'll flood in a moment. And then we'll bring that floodgate up. There we go. And we'll get another bit of flooding likely. And great. We'll bring this down to 0.95. That way the water's got somewhere to go. Fantastic. Fantastic. Just where I want to see all of our water going into this drought in half a day. Yeah, we'll lose a little bit for irrigation purposes and like the drying, the evaporation. But I would rather see us have a really nice high reservoir opposed to trying to perfect it. And just lacking power down here is totally fine for the moment. And that pump is still going, of course. At the end of this workday, we will pause that pump. Great. Don't want them to be pumping during the drought. If you're just joining us, this is cycle 10 going into another drought. We had 16 days between the last drought, not 16 days, 6 days between the last drought, which was 15 days, and this next one, which we'll find out how long it's going to be. Oh, it's only 13. Okay, so this is much... We made it through the 15-day drought. 13 should be easy. We haven't increased our beavers yet, so... good things. We should be able to get this large tank done. And what I might do is throw a pump down right here and just drain this for that large tank. I like that idea. I very much like that idea. And then the other thing we're thinking about right now is where are we expanding our gear workshop? It's going to go right here. We're going to put another 2 gear workshops right here. So we'll build some platforms and whatnot, and that's where they'll go for the foreseeable future. Or we may even put them on the back side of these ones, which is actually more likely because that will cost us less right now. And we don't have a big buffer of materials. And we have a good number of beavers not doing much. So the observatory can get resumed. And just no power at the moment. Totally fine. Just no wind. We're getting low on our grilled chestnuts, and we have extra beavers right now, so we might as well get grilling and cooking our vegetables, our potatoes, and then our chestnuts can get grilled as well. Lovely. And we still have metal here, which is nice to see. Nice bit of scrap just sitting there. 90%. One more plank tomorrow and our large tank will be built. So, once that's done, we will get our large water pump. And this pump is very temporary. It is mainly so that we can get that large water storage filled is the biggest reason why we're building it, to be honest. And, you know, maybe it'll sit there, maybe it won't. But having 1200 water in here that can't evaporate is better than seeing all of this evaporate. Because once it's in storage, it can't. There we go, and we'll prioritize it for the by the haulers. And we do need to extend this road. So that the beavers can get around properly. Yeah, great. And even the haulers are pulling the water from over here into the big tank as well. Because we do have this set up as obtain. And then the beavers will come over here for water when they need it. And the other thing I like to do, because we're getting to a point where it's safe to do it, is I like to put a couple of small spots where beavers can pick up what they need during the workday. So that way they don't have to go as far. If they need to eat or drink, then they can just stop here and pick it up. There we go. Just makes them that little bit more efficient. And wonderful. We're getting a nice little buffer of gears, which means I feel happy enough to go ahead and get them to finish that gravity battery. We have plenty of metal sitting now, so we can start thinking about dealing with bad water and starting to get our centrifuge and start making dynamite. I do really like having dynamite early before the colony gets too big. That way it just makes control of the water a lot easier. And I believe we can start thinking more seriously about automation and get going on a couple of different things. Just looking at them again to see like, okay, what do I want to do with them? How are we going to use them to do different things? And I think we will think about our probably weather station is where we'll start. And we'll start automating these floodgates will be the first thing we do. One less thing to think about. Great. So you can see this is just draining all of this water, which is totally fine. Our reservoir is doing well for irrigation. And even if it wasn't great, I would still rather see that water stored so that we can dump it using the fluid dump than I would see it evaporate from here. Yeah, see, we're at 7.4 days already of this 13-day drought, and we are happy place. Our first gravity battery doesn't hold a lot currently, just because it's so low, but that's fine. A little bit of a buffer is all I'm looking for here. Great. And we'll just let that play for a moment. The other thing that we need to think about is these throttling and fill valves. They replace the sluice gate, which I haven't used at all yet. And it'll be interesting to see how they work in tandem with the new automation tools. Yummy. Yummy tea. From my understanding, these new valves don't work like the sluice gate where they automatically check for contamination. But that's fine. Floodgates, if you're semi-paying attention, can take the entire role of a sluice gate. And these valves are supposed to be easier, apparently. Just the whole, I knew how to do it one way, and learning another way is sometimes time-consuming, or the whole old dogs don't want to learn new tricks thing. I've seen quite a bit of complaints online, actually, about them taking away sluice gates, but I'm not worried about it, personally. Great, the dandelions are still coming in for Sugio here. We're getting a nice little warehouse full. And the chestnuts are still coming in. Good high level of chestnuts and of our grilled potatoes. I believe the only building unstaffed is the haulers. So we'll go ahead and we'll pause one of these lumber mills. We don't need that much. And then we'll pause one of the gears as well, just so we have a couple of haulers at least. And the other thing to think about is we did pause a couple of our lumberjacks and one of our foresters, but I think we'll kind of just leave this forest alone for the next little while. And we'll resume this lumberjack, expand our oak forest right here. There we go. And we'll expand the last bit of our chestnut forest here, here, and here. And then we'll double check our cutting for trees is not set to cut our chestnuts. Good. Doesn't look like any of the chestnuts will get cut down, which is fantastic. Great. So, close that out. And maybe before we do dynamite, we'll do zip lines. Yeah, I like this idea. We're gonna do zip lines much earlier than I normally do. And we'll build a zip line station there. So this will decrease our travel time for beavers from getting from A to B, which is always a fantastic thing. And I think we'll put this one right there. Yeah, I like that idea. Just because of what we were talking about earlier about how we're going to set up this core of the colony, we'll put that station there, and something for anyone who is either new to the game or maybe you just don't know about it, like I didn't for a while. But you see that little green circle around the station here, the zipline station? It disappears if your station is too far away. Just a nice, helpful little hint. When I played, I don't think they had zip lines or gravity batteries. Very possible. I believe zip lines are about a year now, and I think gravity batteries are about a year, year and a half. I'm not 100% certain, Sugio, how long they've been in, but they've been in for a little while at least. Maybe 6 months for zip lines. I'm not sure. At least 6 months though. And perfect. So we've drained this. We'll pause the beavers there. Our reservoir is doing great. We'll bring this down. Sounds about right. I know it's been over a year since I played. Yeah, I would say like a year ago, they really started hitting on the really nice buildings they hadn't gotten yet. So like with Iron Teeth, for example, they have tubeways instead of the zip lines. And we'll get to them eventually once I'm done playing through Folk Tales, but the tubeways are really interesting. It's like a subway system, and you can build on top of the tubeways and like build them in any direction, however you want. I really like them a lot. You can access places through just building the tube lines and then building like the station for them. It's fantastic. So we'll just pause that gear shop, by the way. Just so that we can get our zip lines done, because I really do want to see those come up quickly. And yeah, and like even playing the so 1.0 came out last week, I believe, like properly, not in the experimental. And like I'm still on the experimental, and I would say like every day, every 2 days, there's some bug or something that's been fixed, and like Timberborn has to update every time I open it right now. I think it's just they're so concerned about making sure that everything's good to go. That like small companies like this, they just do such a good job of aftercare after they release. Just like they add into it constantly. So we'll just do a nice little look, and again, like some more appreciation for the texture here. Like, my goodness, the texture and the model is just exquisite. Like, they didn't have to do that. They could have just left this as a texture right on top, but no, they did this nice model with like the start of a ladder coming down, and the windows are there as like a beautiful little texture, and not quite. Yeah, so they didn't bounce it even with like a normal. They just shadowed it with normals, but that's really pretty still. The texture is just exquisite. Like, and they're so consistent, you know, like this building has a look across all of it. This one, it's still obviously like the same set, but like a different look. I'm so blown away by how consistent things are. Like you come over here, this has almost the same look, but the texture is noticeably different still than the Forester hut or the zipline. And there we go, the zipline is built. One of the other places we'll get a zipline up to right away, and our drought's over, is right here into the industrial area. And that's for metal to get moved around a bit, as well as the beavers to get to from jobs and food. So we'll put that zip line more or less dead center of our industrial area. And, oh, sorry, I did want to show something when I built it this time. So again, just to show that little green circle, this little green circle, you can see that it's pointing to the new one. Very important, very lovely, makes life much easier. And I do want to show a little trick with zip lines that I've been using since they came out. Do I have enough to research it? I do. So we're not going to keep this zip line. But what you do is, let's say we were running the zip line over to here, and I wanted, like, it won't reach that far. So you take your pylon, and you put it on top of a platform, just anywhere over any of your pathways. And it just makes setting up where those lines go for the zip line a lot easier. Pause. Sorry, I want to show these cute little guys on a zip line. Oh my goodness, like, so cute. So cute on the zip line. We'll bring that down. Yeah, see, we made it all the way through that drought without draining our reservoir, and we were able to pump the upper part of that lake. Very cute, eh? Yeah, they really are a Sugio. I'm gonna do, like, next time I notice one at the beginning, I'm gonna try and watch it all the way along. So we'll resume that pump. We're going to destroy these ones so that it's easier to place the next one, which is gonna go right here. There we go. So we'll just... there. Beaver on a zip line. So cute. So cute. And it also means, like, hauling things gets a lot quicker as well. And just an FYI as well, zip lines straight, they're 150% faster than a straight path. But if you put a zip line on a diagonal to make the path, like, for example, let's say like we were to put a zip line over here and it went directly to this one, it would be more than 150% faster because it's cutting out the other part of the triangle. But yeah, just another little hint there for zip lines. The other thing to know about zip lines too, for you Sugio, especially when you play next and are using them, is they can only connect to 2 stations or 2 zip lines, or 1 station, 1 zip line. They can only ever have 2 connections at a time. So what you'll see me do eventually is we'll turn this whole area, we'll get rid of this weather vane eventually, put a second zip line right here, and then this connection will get changed to this zipline station that'll be here in the future, to that one, and then this station will end up going somewhere else, probably over here, and this one will have it going in another direction. Just as we get more and more things happening, we need more stations to move the beavers more precisely. Okay, so we're... Oh, I forgot to bring that floodgate down, my goodness. I was wondering why we didn't have any water yet. It's because I hadn't moved one of the floodgates. Here we go, getting some water. Not that we need it at the moment. Our batteries are recharging just from the wind a little bit. Oh, no, we're out of wind, so they're not recharging. Or lifting up the gravity battery. But now with these water wheels, they will. Great, so we have a little bit of a buffer of items. And I am so happy with how this colony is doing and where it's at. And I think with that, we will add a lodge. We'll add a lodge right here. Or we'll look at this one. So it's 250 science, and it is 35 wood, and it'll give us 9 new beavers. Great, so we will actually take this one instead. And you can see it's a double height too. So what that means is it's only accessible on the second level. So we'll extend this pathway and we'll build a platform right there, build the pathway on top, and we're just looking around to see exactly how else we might be building in the future here. Great. So next, especially because of how well this channel is doing, one of the things I'm thinking about is the other crops. So spatterdock and cattail. These two crops can be planted in the water. And then the other land crop we haven't started at all with yet is wheat. And that might also be okay to get started because that channel is doing quite well. And I think that's what we're gonna do, is plant some wheat. And we'll just get that started along here. And we'll add one more farmer back just to make sure that everything's covered. And we can think about, especially with that number up here for our science, bad water and explosives. So we'll go to our water, unlock the bad water pump, yes. And can I throw 2 right side by side right here? I can, wonderful. And then we'll do our path, fantastic. And then we will build a, my goodness, I do this every time for water. We'll build a medium tank. No, we're just gonna build 2 small tanks right here. and they'll be for Badwater. We don't need a lot right now. We'll need more as we go, but we'll build that there. And then we need to really think about how we're expanding our industrial area over here. What we'll do is think that our gear shops are going to go here, 2 more of them. And then the path will go along here. Or, better yet, we'll leave this gap and we'll be able to fill it in later with decorations. And we'll transfer power right here. Same way we did it here, we'll transfer power over here. And there are some decorations that are only 1 level. So let's take a look at our decorations. Beaver statue, no, that won't fit under it. That's okay. What we'll do is we will do hedges. There we go. So we'll put hedges to there. Yes, we'll unlock it. And the reason why I was trying to think about which decorations could go under is because we're going to put more windmills along here. So if we go... Actually, you know what? We only need the 1 couple spots, and I would rather have the better decorations. So we'll do a beaver statue. Yeah, see, we have so much right now. So we'll do a beaver statue right there. And then we'll do a bulletin pole here. And we can't do a scarecrow because we don't have the paper yet, which is totally fine. And then we'll do... Sorry, changing how we're doing this layout constantly. We'll do 2 hedges there, and we'll do the beaver statue here, and the bulletin pole there. That way they're hitting this path. Whether it stays or not, that path is a little bit more important than this one right now, because I know this will get covered off by other decorations later on. And then we can go ahead and put another power shaft there. Turbines there. We'll put that as high priority so it gets taken care of first. 4 workers there. Perfect. So we'll get that built, and then we'll think about putting our other items here. For the extractor and other things like that. Although we may just put the extractor over there to begin with. Yeah. Sorry everybody. Changing how I'm doing this as we are talking about it, because I will probably we'll make this into its own district eventually. So, getting rid of the small size, we want the medium storage tank right here. And this is for Badwater. Badwater, Badwater, Badwater. There it is. Great. So there's the Badwater. And then we will go to the water. The centrifuge is 600. And we'll rotate it to go like this. Great. And then we'll come to power. Wind turbine cannot be directly beside it. Can it? No, it can't. Interesting. So it can go there. And then we'll do a second one there. And then a third there. And then a couple power shafts. There we go. Fantastic. And our new lodge is built. So we'll start getting some more beavers in shortly. And our water's filling up very well. And we're only day 2 of our next cycle here. This is great. Going very well to end out today, because we'll be ending in a couple minutes, and we'll go and do another raid today. So let's just watch the beavers work for a minute. and we'll get ready to head out on a little raid, go say hi to some people. All right. Nuts. Thank you everybody for joining today. I really appreciate it. Coming out, watching, especially as a small streamer, it's very nice to have people who come and say hi regularly and chat, and the regular lurkers are so lovely. It's always nice having you all come as well. I appreciate everybody who comes to watch. Thanks, it was fun watching and learning a little bit more about the game improvements. Yeah, it's really coming along the game for sure. And they're constantly adding to it. Okay, so I found a nice little channel to go raid, so we'll go say hi to them. And yeah, not the same one we did yesterday because they don't appear to be, or on Monday because they don't appear to be on, but that's all right. There we go. Okay, so we'll just start a raid, and thanks again, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we're gonna do some Brotato tonight. It'll be fun. It's with my partner, so you know it's always fun to stream with them. Have yourselves a great day. We're gonna start the raid. Here we go in now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Away we go.